And don't we feel safer already? He's here after what's occurred in the past 24 hours.
Yes.
Very happy that you're here. Thank you. Thank you very much.
It's okay.
He stepped up when we needed him. September 11th, I think all of us remember that day. It was something we never ever thought would happen. All we did was we tried to get our kids close to us, make sure everybody was okay, didn't know what was going to happen. But you know, that's the kind of momentum that we have now, bringing people together. We had, this past Sunday, a great rally at High Point Farm. And on that stage was our primary opponent, Brian Murphy, Connie Morella, myself, Bob, and Mayor Giuliani. And Brian started off by saying, you know, Bob and I, we have a little shade of gray in between us, but Martin O'Malley, Brian Murphy, and Bob Ehrlich, it's black and white. There's the choice. And we need to rally people that were on the fence. They need to get up off of that fence and come out. Connie Morella stood up and she talked about, remember what happened to her 10 years ago when we had redistricting. She happened to be a very good steward for Montgomery County. She was number 16 in the majority. She brought home the bacon, and her constituent services were terrific. And how did this state say thank you to her? They redistricted her and pulled part of Prince George's County into Montgomery County so that she could not possibly win. Well, this time around, and as she stood up and said, we need a two-party state. Maryland must become a two-party state. And this election is going to decide whether we stay dark blue or at least go a little bit purple. Because we will have, when the governor decides he draws the lines in conjunction with the legislature on a bipartisan basis. But if we have a Democratic governor and a Democratic General Assembly, there won't be another Republican elected in Maryland for 10 years. We found that out in Montgomery County. We don't have any elected Republicans here in Montgomery County. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, one. And that's shameful. Because what happens then, and what's been happening over how many years, is that these deals are made in the back room, and they're just brought out, rubber stamped by our General Assembly, sent upstairs, the governor signs on to them, done. Has anybody heard of a veto happening the past 4 years? Bob Ehrlich used to veto a lot of things, like $7.5 billion worth of tax increases. Yes. Towards the end of our rally, Rudy Giuliani stood up and he said, okay, let me get this straight. People in Maryland are looking to re-elect a guy who doubled unemployment, raised taxes, and chased 3,000 businesses out of the state? He goes, if I tried to run for re-election, I not only get laughed at, I'd probably get arrested. He goes, that's just, here you have a great governor. He goes, I use him as an example. He is a great governor. And in your mold of taking care of the people. Now, Governor Ridge was one of the very first people to have a fundraiser for us down at the RNC. It's before I was on the ticket that put in the initial money to get this campaign started. We are down to the last few days. And please don't believe the polls, the Washington Post, or any of that. Because as we found out tonight, Governor O'Malley's bus wouldn't be in Montgomery County today if he thought that he was just going to walk away with this. And we are all over the state. Our internal polls and Governor O'Malley's internal polls are saying the same thing. This is going to be a two-point race. And it's going to depend on who gets their voters out. And Governor Ridge is right. Pile everybody in the car. Do not go to the polls alone. Please don't. Because for our children's sake, for our future here in Maryland, This is an important election, and we need to be out there. We have to go vote. We've got to win this election. Now, we've had early voting, and we are looking very strong. Everything's going pretty well according to plan. And I thank every single one of you. I know a lot of you are out there doing poll watching, you're knocking on doors, you're putting up signs, you're writing checks, which we don't mind having more of, and you're out there doing everything you can because you guys are the believers. Now we need a lot more believers. You know how important this is. And I am looking forward to celebrating on Tuesday. It's going to be a great time. There's a party down in Rockville. We're going to be in Timonium Fairgrounds, and we'll be in Annapolis the next day to start work. So thank you very much for being out here.
All right.